welcome to the Honest Wargamer for an exciting award show. Oh, reshoot. No. Okay.
Take two. From the top.
Take two from the
From
top.
the top.
From the top. Hold on. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer live from the App of the Year Awards studio here in Nottingham. That's right. It's time for another yearly award show, and it's very exciting to be joined by my amazing co-host, Nick. Nick, how are you?
Hi, Rob. I'm fantastic. I'm super excited to be back again at the App of the Year Awards. Such a prestigious event. So lucky to be here, particularly after last year.
Particularly after last year. Now, we're joined by our live studio audience, as you guys can see. We aren't, unfortunately, wearing tuxes. That's because the tux rental shop that we were planning on getting all our tuxes from, unfortunately, had to lock down. So we are, again, not there. But as you can see, we're in our different studios. The audience is out there, and they're ready for what has been a hotly anticipated award show. It's been a pretty serious year for Warhammer apps. There's been some massive news. Obviously, very recently, Games Workshop and Warhammer itself was in the New York Times. We know Henry Cavill has been talking about Warhammer a lot all around the world, and we know he's downloaded several of these apps, which is pretty exciting. So
and we have also extended an invitation to Henry to be on the board for the App of the Year. So we're still waiting to hear back from his agents after the court order that they sent us back to stop harassing him.
Yes,
but we'll get him. We will get him.
We will get him. He will be on the board. But the board, you might be interested who does make the final decisions on the App of the Year award. We did get that question last year. It's actually a board of several different members, all of whom have been exclusively blacklisted from becoming Warhammer heroes. So that's the only way you can become a board member for the Warhammer App of the Year awards. I know it seems counterproductive, but that way we ensure impartiality.
Yeah, we know they can be trusted.
Yeah.
If they've been blacklisted from Games Workshop awards.
Now, the red carpet has been hotting up, Nick. A lot of people here at the event, they've been checking out, they've been showing us their phones and how they use their apps. We have had protests outside as well. We don't want to ignore that. We've had people on the red carpet showing us their phones with their different apps. The protests, though, have been pretty severe. Lots of people, 3 people, holding signs saying things like "Warhapedia is an app." Nick, would you like to comment on this at this particular time?
Well, the board's response, that I've been told to say, has always been, Warhapedia is a website. Yes, you can get it on your phone, but it is a website. So it's not technically involved in the App of the Year. And I think, we tried to get in touch with Warhapedia developers just to check whether they wanted to convert it to an app for us to use and consider. But the message we got back, we couldn't read. It was in Russian, and it just sounded quite threatening. So we decided not to follow up on any links that they put in the email either.
I think it was the picture of the badger's decapitated head at the bottom of the email that was the main issue with.
It was quite disturbing. Yeah, quite disturbing. That was. Yeah.
Very disturbing. I'm also somehow my IP is now blocked from accessing it, which is a major issue because that's how I would get all of my rules. But anyway, a book is not an app. The live studio audience also joining in the protest, so a bit awkward, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Just use it as a spreadsheet, sure. So, Nick, okay, should we talk about the nominees? Do you want to talk about the nominees?
Well, before we do that, I would just like to have a plea to anyone listening. Please subscribe to our App of the Year Plus service. Please do. We've really put a lot of effort into it. Our backlog is 1 video from last year, but it will be updated with 1 video per year. Please subscribe to App of the Year Plus. We'll give you, I don't know, free shit every week for it.
Maybe.
So just a plea there.
It's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee that you'll get anything. Yeah. It's like you might get something. So yeah, subscribe. Obviously, please.
Yeah, give us the money and maybe you'll get something.
Yes.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. But we can't guarantee that. Okay, all right. So we're going on to the nominees. Very exciting, Nick. I'm very exciting. Yes. Okay, so the nominees for this year are, drumroll, chat, if you want to do a bit of this at home. So the nominees are, in order, the Games Workshop 40k app, the ITC Battles app, the Games Workshop Age of Sigmar app, Battlescribe, Best Coast pairings, and kind of cut off there. Honest Wargamer Plus. So
a new app this year.
Yeah.
New contender.
A new contender has joined the ranks. So some are missing there, as you guys can see. Warhapedia was one of the mentioned ones. Another one that was also missing is actually Warhammer Plus, Nick, because it turns out that's also not an app.
No, that's Khan, isn't it? It's like a...
Right. So, so let's talk about the different apps that have been nominated. Okay, so the first app that's been nominated, I will introduce. That is, as you guys can see it there, that is Battlescribe. Okay, Battlescribe's had over 500,000 downloads and has got a 5-star rating, or it's like a 4.9. Battlescribe used a lot by people to create their 40k lists. It has all of the rules available when you do create the lists. It does require like 3 to 6 hours to work out how to necessarily put it together, but that's fine. So Battlescribe is our first nominee. Nick, what have you got to say about Battlescribe?
Well, so just like that rash that I had last year, Rob, at the App of the Year Awards, Battlescribe is back again this year. But unlike my rash, the Battlescribe helps people write army lists for a wide range of game systems. Battlescribe is developed and maintained by a legion of contributors. Apparently, there are more Battlescribe contributors than there are Warhammer Plus subscribers. So that's about 6 people. List writing can be difficult initially until you get used to the interface, but once you master it, you can have all the relevant rules and information right at your fingertips. Battlescribe supports gamers worldwide just by being brilliant, to be honest. Similar to how Henry Cavill supports the entire Games Workshop marketing team with one fucking sentence on the Graham Norton show. Battlescribe is a previous winner, obviously. It's won the App of the Year award last year and other years before that. It's a mainstay in the app world, but will it win the title again this year?
It's a great question. Nick, some pretty serious words had about Battlescribe. So it'll be interesting to see how this does. There are rumors that maybe Battlescribe hasn't been or will continue to no longer be updated. There's been some recent rumors. We also heard about some cease and desist letters at some point, but it could well have been left. And so will it make it back next year is the real question. But for now...
Fingers crossed.
But for now, in its current state, it's pretty... it's
strong contender. It's a strong contender.
Strong contender. It is. Okay.
Even after all that stuff, it's still going. Still there.
It's still there. Okay, so that's Battlescribe nominated. Now the next app is I seem to have not updated this from last year. So this is the Warhammer 40,000 app, although it does say 2021, so I must have updated it. Anyway, Games Workshop last year, not this year, launched their Warhammer 40,000 app, an important app which is now not behind a paywall but connected to a paywall that is Warhammer Plus. So the app is is where you get the rules for your Warhammer 40,000 armies if you've bought the book beforehand. It's really good because in today's modern age, you quite often want things digitally. So this is a good way of getting the digital thing once you've bought the physical thing, which at some point in the future, you assume that they'll cut out the physical element. But for now, it's a great way to get your digital rules via an app. Nick, talk us through. By the way, it has a 1.4 star rating on the App Store.
Ooh, 1.4. Doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah.
So 40k app, just like an eggy fart in an elevator, the 40k app caused quite a stir when it was released. Some of the community hated it, while others were paid to love it. Similar to the quality of Games Workshop rules writing, the 40k app continues to go from strength to strength. And by that, I mean largely remaining the same despite constant public outcry. The app includes all the core rules for 8th edition, and 8th edition codexes for free. But, like Rob said, if you want any digital content, you have to go out, kill a tree, burn it, and only then will the digital content be revealed in the blood of future generations. One feature you can unlock in the app is the list writer. I think it's terrible, but that's just my subjective opinion. So, I've devised a test.
Okay.
So this test uses the tried and trusted Templar miniatures technique. This is now a standardized industry test,
Yep.
and it can be applied to any wargaming app.
What is?
It's called
What is
the
the name?
Templar Wargaming app test, or TWAT test for short. So we tested Battlescribe versus the Games Workshop 40k app. So we've filmed the test, so we can show the test now.
I will show the test,
viewers
but
at home.
just because I feel like we might have missed it very quickly. The name of the test is what, and how do you?
So it's the Templar Wargaming app test,
Yep.
or TWAT test for short. So it's inspired by the Templar Miniatures Wargaming Kickstarter, where they revolutionized how you can test hobby products and compare and contrast them. So this industry standard test has now been, inspired by them. So they have birthed, the TWAT test. So let's have a look.
Congratulations. Okay, here we go. This is the TWAT test.
So here you can see here's a Battlescribe. So yeah, adding a list, choose your system. You can pick what army you want, whatever. Quite straightforward.
Good. Yeah.
Looks pretty easy to use. You start your list. Here you go. All the different units you can add.
Okay. Yeah. Seems simple.
Seems pretty straightforward to use. Not easy to use. Nice and straightforward. Adding war gear. Once you get used to it, you can get pretty quick at this thing.
Yeah.
There you go. See all the rules, zoom in on all your stats and everything. Looks pretty good.
This is the 40k app.
Yeah, so here's the 40k app. Let's see how easy it is to use. Look, not easy at all. Look at that.
Not
you can
as
barely
easy.
make a list with that.
Not as easy. It does. Is this the full scientific? This is how it. There's no other way to test this. This is the way.
No, that's we did the same thing to both apps, and the 40k app completely failed.
Ah, okay.
Terrible.
Maybe why it's got a
very
1.
poor on the TWAT test.
Yeah, it did. Maybe why it failed pretty significantly on the App Store as well, with a 1.2 rating.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they made it a bit more easy to use, then it might do better.
Right. Okay. So next up is the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app, replacing the Warhammer Azir app, which was a fully functional app. So they replaced it. It has had 50,000 downloads and has got a 3-star rating. It works very much like the 40k app in that you get the rules inside of it by buying physical books and unlocking them, which is different to the Azir app, which it replaced, where you could buy digital books completely inside of them. So some would say that it goes backwards. Some would say, but that's not me. It's got a 3-star rating. And there we go. Nick, talk to me about this app.
Well, I've got some information for you, Rob. So just like the Omnicron variant, the Games Workshop app is new this year.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of giving the Conservative Party an excuse to have secret parties, it's helping Age of Sigmar players play the new edition of Age of Sigmar. So the app has replaced the old Azir app, which was loved by many. So this move by Games Workshop has been as popular as when they replaced Duncan with Peachy. Sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Thanks, Nick.
Has anyone been to Warhammer World?
No, not recently. Isn't it
Forgive me.
on fire?
Oh, sorry. So the AOS app has the core rules and war scrolls for free, but there's no list writing function in the app unless... Sorry, there is also a list writing function in the app, but the only downside is you have to subscribe to Warhammer Plus. The app is full of pictures of the models, and I can only assume that they had to do this to ensure that Destruction players could use it. The app is a new, fresh face on the block, but will it have the wow factor to win the App of the Year awards 2021?
It's the real question. That's the real question. A lot of cheers from the crowd when we did mention this. So that's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. A lot of cheers from the crowd about the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app. Okay, the next nominated app is ITC Battles. This is a 40k app that allows you to track the scores for your 40k games. It's got over 10,000 downloads on the App Store with a 4.6 rating. Some would say a pretty necessary way to track your games of 40k. Nick, got any thoughts on this?
I do have some thoughts on the ITC Battles app. It is one of my favourites, one of my tips maybe this year to win the award, but we'll see.
Ooh.
So just like taking photos of your poo and uploading them to ratemypoo.com, the ITC Battles app is an amazing way to record some of your greatest achievements. The ITC Battles app is a fantastic way to track and record your games of 40k. You can track the scores, command points, secondary missions. It's such a fantastic idea that Tabletop Titans are set to announce their own battle scoring app after they developed it ages ago, but only really thought of it again recently. A new development this year, which I love, has been the added feature where you can see your own personal stats, including your win percentage. It even breaks down to show your go first or go second win percentage. So Mike Brandt and the MetaWatch team have helped us out this year with some market research, and they've produced a helpful graph to show what people thought about the ITC Battles app. So I don't know if we can see that, Rob.
There you go. It's in there. The Metagraph ITC. This is so. Can you talk me through this, Nick?
Okay, so MetaWatch team, Mike Brandt helped us out with some market research. So the ITC Battles app. So as you can see, 63% said the app was great, 70% said app great, and 50% was 60%. So this clearly shows how great the app is, and this is a legit survey.
It does look fairly legit, I would say. Lot of appreciation from the crowd here.
Inclusive.
Very inclusive of all. It looks like a Russian election, is what it looks like. Okay, so great. I can't believe Mike Brandt and the team have worked on this.
Really
they
sent
great.
That
into the show for the App of the Year award. Wow.
Sorry?
They sent that into us. Okay, wow.
Yeah, they sent it in. They were like, we want to support the project and help disseminate clear information.
They've done that. That's very nice of them. So thank you. Okay, well, ITC Battles potentially as likely to win as this app is to get an award as well. Not this graph. Okay, next up, new starter on the block, unfortunately, for the team. Developed by Lex for free for the Honest Wargamer community and anyone who plays Age of Sigmar. Some would say an exact identical copy of ITC Battles, but for Age of Sigmar. It is the Honest Wargamer Plus with over 1,000 downloads and a 5-star rating. Our only 5-star app from this year. Okay.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. Good start. So the Honest Wargamer Plus, just like my sexual feelings towards Henry Cavill, this app is new and growing each day. In the most blatant rip-off since Templar Wargames ripped off Facehammer objective rings, who ripped off the Honest Wargamer objective rings, who ripped off everyone else who previously invented objective rings, the Honest Wargamer has created a scoring app for Age of Sigmar, which is very similar to the ITC Battles app. The app allows you to enter your army details, mission, battle tactics, priority, and much, much more. And as an Honest Wargamer, in my totally unbiased opinion, I think it is amazing and revolutionary. But don't take my word for it. Let's do another twat test, Rob.
Let's do it.
Again, inspired by Templar Wargaming miniatures. Let's do another twat test of it. So let's pit the ITC Battles app against the Honest Wargamer Plus and see how they compare.
Here we go. Okay, so what are we looking at?
Yeah, nice little user interface there. You can pick which mission set you want, pick your mission, all that kind of stuff, and put secondaries in. This isn't a I just showed a bit of basic data entry for it, so it's not the full shebang. There you go. You could just see the usability of it.
Yeah.
I think we'll see the Honest Wargamer Plus in a minute. Here we go. There it is. Let's see how easy it is to use.
How easy is it to use?
Yeah. Barely usable. Barely usable.
A completely fair and unbiased test.
Completely fair and unbiased.
I will feed that back to Lex. I'm very happy to see that that the Temple of Wargaming app tests are fair and unbiased and work very well, and in no way are unfairly. Okay, that's good. That's appreciated. Well, okay, Nick. With that, oh wait, we have one more nominee.
We have one more nominee.
One more nominee. Best Coast Pairings, which is both a website and an app. So unlike Warhampedia, it's got 10,000 downloads and it's got a 3-star rating. You are able to track your scores, like Itc Battles and the Warhammer, the Sigmar Plus app in there, as well as obviously do your pairings for all your international tournaments and Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. But we don't care about that. We only care about Warhammer App of the Year. Nick, what can we say about Best Coast Pairings?
So, Best Coast Pairings, just like your mum, Best Coast Pairings is old but still being used by everyone in the community. Best Coast Pairings is the Warhammer scene's go-to tournament scoring app, where you can set up events, submit lists, and organise rounds all in one app. The app can be essential to a TO when running tournaments, similar to how the Falcon is essential to Val and Rob on the 40k Adjacent show to make it seem like they know what they're talking about. Viewing lists on the app is an absolute dream, if that dream was being kicked in the balls by a hallucinated anthropomorphic watermark. Best Coast Pairings is a mainstay in the 40k community, but will it help it win the App of the Year award this year? Oof. Who knows?
I don't know. Some spicy things said there, Nick, but I actually agree with absolutely everything you said. Cast iron guarantee. A round of applause for Nick in the chat, who definitely should win Host of the Year. But with that said, we cannot let things slide, and we have to announce a winner. And again, just so you guys know, this was done fair and impartially.
Well, we have some honourable mentions.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sorry.
So there were lots of apps that were up for the awards this year. These were just the finalist nominees, but we do have some honourable mentions for other Warhammer apps that are out there that you guys might want to check out as well. So there's the Warganizer app, which is iOS only, and it's an app that helps you organize your miniature collection. There's another one similar to that, it's called Figure Case, which again is iOS only, but it's organize your miniature collection. There's a competitor for Itc Battles app called WH40k Scores, so Warhammer 40k Scores. So it's a tracking game. And there's a new one that's in development called Good Game Buddy, which it's an app that allows you, it's like a rules app. You can use the Battlescribe files to look at rules on your phone. So it's an alternate sort of like, you can download your just for 40k, well, Battlescribe files for any Wargaming rules. So they're just some honourable mention shout outs for those apps who are, vying for next year maybe in the finalist category.
They're looking to hot up really. Very, very interesting. Okay, all right. Well, with we now before we announce, as always, you do at an award show. Before we get to the winner, we will take a small, quick break as we go to our sponsor for today's show, and that is the Honest Wargamer Stinger. And we're back. Okay, thank you. We're back. Thank you very much. Please do help our sponsor out by liking, subscribing, and donating anything you can. Down below. So, Nick, please do let us know who is the winner of 2021's App of the Year. Just before anyone needs to know, don't forget, last year was won by Battlescribe in what was a close race between it and a pirated version of itself. Nick, who is the winner this year?
Okay, so the board have sent me an envelope. Just get it open. The winner of the App of the Year Awards 2021 is Battlescribe.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. Yeah, can we all stand? Everyone at home, please stand. That was, what a shock. That was unbelievable. We couldn't have seen that coming. Nick, no. You couldn't have seen that coming. That was honestly, a bit left field, to be honest.
I mean, it's won every year so far. It won last year. Still a strong contender this, but there was some real competition this year, and I really thought at one point the board were swaying a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, the Honest Wargamer Plus, that twat test, it didn't do too well in that test, but it's a new up and coming app, and I really thought that Battlescribe had some real tough competition this year, but it's smashed them out of the water again.
Yeah.
So well played to the team.
I mean, so some fair criticism from the audience. They haven't done an update on the app for the entire year, but amazing that still beats every other app, hands down. Pretty incredible. Truth be told, a completely free app that you can use to build army lists for, most importantly, the world's most successful tabletop miniature game that's ever existed. Completely free. And developed by a crowd, which I think is pretty important. What were some key features, Nick, that you think led it to victory?
Well, I think comparing it to... so in all seriousness, when I was doing this, I did actually try to write an army list in the 40k app. And I just found it, maybe once you get used to it, it's easier. But I just found it, yes, it looks pretty. Like, it looks pretty than the Battlescribe when I'm writing a Battlescribe 40k list. Like, 'cause you've got the pictures and the UI is a bit more, pretty and clean or whatever. But like, it was, when you're looking at a list on Battlescribe, you just got to scroll up and down a little bit to see all of your units and stuff. Whereas a 40k one, I think that you go into a unit, there's like each individual guy is there. It just feels too big. Like the space they've used for each box or whatever, to me, is just too big. And it's just a bit too fiddly. I've only used it a couple of times, but like, I just found, I mean, maybe that's just because I've used Battlescribe a lot, but I do prefer writing a Battlescribe list because everything's just a bit smaller and condensed. You can see the whole a bit easier rather than the 40k app, I think. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think there's loads of things about it, right, that works really. We also, I mean, we're talking about exclusively Warhammer. You can also build your Age Sigmar list in there as well, although I hate when I see that. And maybe the output isn't necessarily the most beautiful thing in the world, but like, let's be real about it. The volume of data in 40k isn't the most beautiful thing in the world, but it still is the world's most successful tabletop game that you can play, especially for tournaments where you need those rules, or even in your casual games, like having a pickup. And the barrier to entry is 0. You don't have to buy a book to be able to use them, which is pretty important. It's also usable, whereas BCP is usable really only at events, as is this Battlescribe is usable at any stage for looking up your list and writing your stuff. So it does feel like
during a game, at a tournament.
Yeah.
Scheming between games.
Yeah, sharing with your friends and all that other stuff. So it makes sense as to why. So pretty big news. Nick, thank you for, again, hosting the App of the Year Awards. Will you be making a return for the App of the Year Awards 2022? Do we know yet?
Well,
have our agents
that
confirmed?
all depends on my manager and your manager talking to see whether we can get some more time
in the future
between now and then.
Yes. I'd like to close the show by thanking the live studio audience for the show. That's been fantastic. All of the apps who tried so hard this year, their developers, and all of their employers who obviously stole their labor. Congratulations to you. And of course, thanks to you, dear viewer. Please do let us know what your favorite app is. And I'll close the show by saying, of course, that the Rightful Ruler app is indeed a scam. Thanks very much. We did it, Nick. Oh, we did it. That was good. What does the Twitch chat think? Chat, time for it to get your feedback. Nick did well. Nick, great gags. The poo landing on the Honest Wargamer app.
Yeah, because like I did the first twat test, and I thought, I kind of wanted to do another one as well, but like with like a bit of a different, because hopefully people were just expecting me just to mash it with my hand again or something like that, but then just do something a bit different and funny.
Yeah, that was good.
And behind the curtain, that's just chocolate yogurt.
Oh really? Really?
Not real poo.
Not real poo.
Not real poo, just chocolate yogurt.
Imagine that's what you have to say. Do you have like a serious take, like not to make you be serious, about the apps for Warhammer generally? Have you got like any thoughts? Like,
obviously, I understand everyone's whenever someone criticizes Battlescribe, like the output it does is a bit
Shit.
like loads of words, like just it's not clean. It's like just here's loads of data, and it does take some getting used to and quite fiddly. But I think once you do get used to it, I can write a list in there dead quick, just like super quick,
Yeah.
because I know my way around it really quickly. It's dead easy to like copy lists. Like you might write a list, copy it, change it, but then go back to your other one that you've still got because you've not had to write over it. Adding new units, and if you subscribe to Battlescribe, well, give them a bit of money each year, you get favorites, and you don't only get ads and different features and stuff like that. So I personally think it's a worthy winner because it's the one that I use the most. I think I would say that close second for me would be ITC Battles. I do think it's it's not the most complicated thing to put together. I imagine I'm not an app developer myself, but I don't think it's like the most complicated app thing to put together necessarily. But it's not. They've not gone over the top with it. It's nice and clean. And I really like the updates that they've done this year, with like just as soon as you log in on your home screen, you've got all the games you've ever played and your stats on there. It's nice to have that, like your win rate, go first, go second win rate, number of wins, losses, and that kind of stuff. They broke it down by factions that you play, factions that you play against. So it's just nice to see that. And you can add a new practice game, like a single game, or add a tournament. So you just have to enter your details once and you just add rounds into the tournament.
Yeah.
So it's a really easy way to use it. And yeah, it's just really functional and usable. And the output of that is really nice. So like after a game, you just click on the output bit and you can have a look, and it breaks it down like in a little table. So you can see, oh, I scored really early on, or my opponent scored really on, and then, or I scored late on. What secondaries did I fuck up? Were they a good choice? And you can look back at that and sort of analyze your tournament or your game or whatever. So that would be a second to me. Best Coast pairings, I've found it's fine, but I really hate the watermarks that they put when you're looking at a list. Like you just want to look at the list and there's this stupid fucking watermark in the background of either the person tournament logo there or whatever. It just makes it really hard to like see what's going on. And like I hate how it's not very good on the browser really, and that like in the phone app itself, like you'll go in somewhere, you go back and it'll throw you out and you have to restart again, go in again. It just seems really clunky sometimes. The 40k and Age of Sigmar apps I've not really used all that much because I tried the 40k app when it first came out, when we all got conned into subscribing to try it.
Yep. But also Warhapedia is right there, right?
Yeah, like it's just like there's a better product for free.
The hyperlinks are the bit that do it for me. Like you can't beat the hyperlinks. Like especially the look over. Like it's perfect. Like they've not only have they thought out like how to just put this stuff up, because even just a fucking image would be good. But the fact that they're all hyperlinks, or like I don't know if you've seen this bit. When you look at a data sheet, underneath the data sheet it has stratagems you can use with this data sheet. And
I saw that the other day. Yeah. I looked at Warboss and Warbike, and I was like scrolling down the page, like, it's awesome. It's got all, like you say, all the strats and things that are relevant to that one, and they have points on there as well.
Yeah, base sizes. This is like base sizes is a thing. Like it's just all of the information. Like Warhapedia, if it was an app, would be I mean, you can't build lists, but like I don't know.
I feel like that's an app built by gamers for gamers, whereas the 40k app is, I don't even know what their like what was their design brief, what are they trying to achieve with it. Like it feels like they just want a pretty app that they can, I don't know.
Well, it's because they would have had to it'll be on their like fucking investor like spreadsheet at the end of the in their presentation, like we launched 3 new apps this year, which like investors love to hear that shit, but no one gives a fuck. Like it's really interesting actually, like because I don't know if you saw yesterday, I built for Christmas, I got some MCP models, like my first box. And I built the 2 that I got, which was Mysterio and Venom, and in the box it's got the instructions obviously to build them, and then it's got just all the credits, Like, and maybe not all the credits.
Yeah.
It doesn't have who was the window cleaner at where they work, nor the dinner lady where they work, or whatever, or dinner person. Sorry, could be anyone, right? But like, it has some, which is a great start, right? It made me think about GW and everything that they do, and the way they don't credit stuff. And like, because of that, like, they have a monopoly. But what's interesting is they don't have a monopoly on apps. They have a monopoly in the tabletop. 40K is so big, I don't think we really understand how big it is. It's wild. It's so big, right? Compared to other tabletop role-playing games or like tabletop like games. Like, it's huge. But they don't have a monopoly on their apps because they make just such terrible products, because they have a monopoly on the market. They're like, no one is going to make an app that's good enough that makes everyone go play another game system. And similarly, I don't think anyone's even going to make a good enough game system that's going to make them like it's going to affect Games Workshop enough, right? So they have a monopoly, and they have a future monopoly, which I think that they know. So there's no way that we're ever going to get better products other than the independent community developing them. Like, that has to be the benchmark, like, consistently. So, I mean, I think we're lucky that anyone makes them at all, right? Or maybe Games Workshop are lucky. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. If Games Workshop actually come up with a legitimate app, would other people go, oh, well, that's good enough, we'll stop making anything better? Don't know. But yeah, we are lucky that there's the guys in Russia doing that, and other people developing other apps like Battlescribe that just make absolutely just make our gaming experience just so much easier. Just makes our life easier, writing lists or whatever. Like, imagine if we were still having to use pen and paper, like Games Workshop, like, initially didn't they say that at one point recently when they like released, I'm sure it's like within the last couple of years, they're like, oh, you can still write on pen and paper, even when 40K was like still mental crazy to actually write a list for, when the rules were all over the place.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's nuts. Like, it's very like D&D for RPGs, but then like D&D have got that. Like, I haven't played the Soulbound game yet, even though I bought it at release. But I don't know if you've seen. There's like D&D like apps where they'll like it plays through for you or whatever the fuck it does. I don't really know. But there's one, and now the Soulbound one is on there, and you can do that. There's some sort of app that basically just digitizes it for you and lets you play it on there. And I think you have to buy it on there to let it work. But like, it doesn't matter. We're not worthy of the guys in Russia. No, we're not. Like, we're simply not. And they're fantastic, and they do have a Patreon if you want to go and support it. Basically. So, D&D and Beyond, is that what it's called? Yeah, it would. Listen, Nick, it's been great having you on the show.
It's been good to be back.
Thank
you. Been awesome to be back. See you on the chat.
Can we all just give Nick a round of applause? Nick, I'm going to stay on real quick to talk about the new Age of Sigmar box, unless you want to talk about it with me.
I've got to go have lunch anyway.
Right, well, listen, I appreciate and love you loads, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Love you too. Love the chat.
Okay.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Look after yourself. Bye. Goodbye to Nick, everyone. Goodbye to Nick. Big clap to Nick. Nick's great. Like, I stand Nick, I stand Tom, I stand Nathan, I stand Dan, Owen, and all of the people. Adam. Like, I'm very lucky. Very much I'm lucky to have you guys in the chat, to have such wonderful people around me. And Nick's funny. That was just all Nick, basically. I just stood here while he made jokes, and it was great. So, Nick, Ziggy, Rob, all the gang. Nathan, James. Honest Wargamer crew. We're getting bigger and stronger every day. Logan. Yeah, Logan's great as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's start this next recording for the Thug, shall we? Nick did great. He was so good. He was great. Okay, let's have a look. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Very exciting piece of news to be reviewing today. But days after Christmas, Games Workshop have graced us with some news about Age of Sigmar and what we might be seeing next year. Pretty exciting. So, what we're hoping for is some announcements of... we're pretty certain that this is going to be a battle box, so two armies battling off against each other. We're hoping it doesn't include any expansions like we're seeing in 40K, so we don't want any campaign books, because that's more books that we have to buy for rules, because we're mainly a narrative show. So we do like story, But we also like it when we get rules, which is pretty fun. So, an ancient grudge boils over in the next Fury of the Deep, the next Warhammer Age of Sigmar battle box. So we talked about these a lot before. We'll talk about the battle box before we get into it for a minute. What's a battle box? It's two competing armies playing against each other. Normally what they have is they have an on-foot character, or maybe sometimes a mounted character, that's exclusive to the box for several months, producing what we call FOMO, so fear of missing out. So it's basically marketing with two exclusive models, which sometimes are basically useless, and sometimes they're the key to making an army better. The Abhorrent Arc Regent is a good one that was in a battle box, which was super good, and it made your army, your Flesh Eater Courts army, amazing, being able to give you an additional D3 attacks. Some had other models that I forgot. Whatever the one for Osiark Bone Reapers was terrible. So there's that. So those are battle boxes. They're normally limited edition, so stocks are rare in some cases. So what's also a problem is if you are a wargamer, like if you like to go to events as opposed to, let's say, a painter, let's say, the box is pretty important to you because you might want to use that model that's in the box that makes your army loads better. Okay, so you kind of are praying that the model inside the box is a good-looking model because you want a good-looking model for your army, but it's terrible in the game. Because then you might not be able to get it, right? So that's how it works. That's what a battle box is. Really, it's engaging on people's fear of missing out and making them overconsume products, is what a battle box is there for. In no way does it help the health of the game or indeed people. So let's dive right in. We all hope you had a merry Warhammer-filled Christmas wherever you are. Lovely. We revealed Eldritch Omens on Christmas Day, a Warhammer 40,000 battle box that sees some stuff. Today it's Warhammer Age of Sigmar's turn, and there's a video, a battle of Salt and Soot. I really thought that said Salt and Poo. Salt and Soot, let's go. Here we go. Okay, Fire Slayers. No new models that I can see. Ideneth, no new models. No new models. Okay, so models that are already available. Models that are still available. Oh! An exclusive model we have not seen before. Exciting. Okay, now this is pretty exciting because he looks very similar to a Rune Smiter. He also looks fairly similar to a Battlesmith, a Grimwrath Berserker, or also an Auric Runeson on foot. He also looks a lot like an Auric Runefather on foot. Some would say he also looks like, I said Rune Smiter, right? He looks like a, yeah. So he looks like a lot of those, but has got a pretty cool cape, which is good. Okay, good. All right, so Auric Flamekeeper. Sweet. So he keeps flames as opposed to smite things. Excellent. Ooh. Okay, so the Ideneth Reavers already available. Alapex already available. Or you could also 3D print yourself a glorious looking Alapex proxy if you want at any point. Oh, an Achillean Thrall Master. Fish, not readily available. Ah, an on-foot character for the fastest army in the game. Excellent. Okay, so it's a Thrall Master who looks very angry and very un-Thrall-like. Thrall's generally done in a kind of paler skin color, specifically because their souls are weaker than those of their Lumineth brothers, because if you guys don't know, Teclis, who is a god, when stealing souls from Slaanesh, or sorry, draining souls from Slaanesh, got some weak ones, which we turned into the Ideneth Deepkin, which he doesn't really like, so which is why their narrative is that they raid shorelines stealing souls to buoy up their weakened souls, basically. So he's looking a lot healthier, very soulful, full of soul, I'd say. Okay, so it does look like it's a battle box of miniatures we could already get with 2 exclusive characters. Okay, so that's right, yet another ancient animosity reaches boiling point as bald heads meet long beards in Fury of the Deep. Okay, so they always name them so you feel like you're not just getting repackaged products. So they're called Fury of the Deep or something else. And then you'll see someone tweet, Thank you, Games Workshop, for sending me Fury of the Deep early. And then you'll be like, why is it called Fury of the Deep? It's just because it's... We hoping it's because there's going to be a book. And there'll be some story, right? There's some story attached to this, I'm sure. Let's look. Soul hunting Idnet Deepkin are escalating their raids on the coastal Firestay stronghold of Riftmar. As the acidic tides rise, so does the intensity of the marauding Achillean Thrall Masters. Okay, so that's these guys. The Thrall Master shifts stances to effortlessly counter whichever opponent he faces, instructing his Nomati followers to follow suit. Okay, so he might be able to change the stances on Idneth Deepkin, which does make us think that there might be a new Idneth Deepkin book in the future. Some of the other reasons that we know there's an Idneth Deepkin book in the future is all of the play testers who we follow on Twitter to see whether or not they're building Idneth Deepkin armies are indeed building them. So we know there's a new book on the way. That's how we know. The Thrall Master, standing against him as an Auric Flamekeeper, a Firestay warrior priest who presides over a lodge's funerary rites. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I mean, it's a great mini. Fantastic mini. It's one mini, though. Armed with the Brazier Axe, the Solemn Flamekeeper is responsible for removing the Urgold runes from fallen warriors. They can harness the power of lifeless runes to bestow blessing upon their fellow Dwarden, all while bellowing litanies from their grim death mask. Oh, maybe we'll see some sort of healing mechanic in this army. I love you and your energy. Thanks to Templar. Okay, so these two mighty heroes will decide the fate of Riftmar at the head of two forces comprising of 43 miniatures, 41 of which you can already buy. So you don't have to stress. The Auric Flamekeeper is joined by... It doesn't matter where they're joined by. Okay, and there's a book. Nice artwork, though. I like the artwork. You also get a 40-page booklet. Nice! Containing all the background of the war over Riftmar, rules for a new Ashquian region of war called the Vitrulous Reach, 3 battle plans covering events of the raids. Now, this is really fun. This 40-page booklet. This is fun. That's pretty cool. We get some story of a battle between two forces. I really like that. I hope this is available to buy digitally afterwards. That would be good. I assume there'll be somewhere that I could digitally buy that afterwards. There are War Scroll cards for all the miniatures in the box, as well as tokens that you can keep track of your command points and various rules. You'll start playing right out of the box. Okay. So I guess the real question is for us as players, is this great artwork though? Fuck. That's great, isn't it? That's super fun. Two forces of order arrayed against each other is also some cool story. Fury of the Deep is in June 2022, and there's more news about the Salty Sea Elves and the Citizen Dwarden coming up. Okay, so that's because we assume that they have new battle tomes on the way, right? So that's what we're assuming. So we've got from this, there are also some new battle tomes. So is it a good starter box? I guess that's a good question. It's got Reavers and Thralls in it. So a unit of Reavers and a unit of Thralls, which I guess is a good starter, versus a bunch of Firestays. I mean, so what, one Alapex versus, what did you get? What did you get in there? How many Hearthguard Berserkers? Joined by Auric Hearthguard and Hearthguard Berserkers. Okay, so the Firestays will kick the shit out of the Idneth ones. Not a terrible box, but disappointing addition to the two armies. Okay, it's time for the Twitch chat to have their say about what they think of the box. For me, I find all of these boxes very underwhelming. I find them next to useless, truthfully, unless you're a new starter. Or you have a friend that also collects this army. If we do look at the Age of Sigmar stats, we know Idneth Deepkin are about 4% of the current meta. It doesn't mean that's how many people own the army. I'm sure more people own the army, with Firestayers being a lot lower. I think 2 on-foot characters is a hard sell for me. It wouldn't make me want to collect either of the 2 sets of miniatures, especially because they don't necessarily consist or create a good army. At the moment, so I wouldn't necessarily do that. Thanks to Team Badgers for subscribing, by the way, and thank you to Lindsay Lark, who's a first-time chatter, joining us live on Twitch, which you can do at any point. Says my Morphin Deepkin are happy with the Thrall Master. There you go. Save your cash. The dwarfs offering AOS are so poor, in my opinion. Says Big Ground Specs. Hopefully, both get a new tome as well. That's true, so forgive me for ignorance, since I'm newer to the online AOS community, but do you actually recommend AOS as a game? Yes, Age of Sigmar is a great game. There are loads of really good ways to get into Age of Sigmar. Some good ways to look at how to get into the game would be to visit Mr. Haywo Twitch. So His YouTube channel has got a good bunch of start collecting guides, which I highly recommend as a way to get into stuff. Merry Christmas, Grimgar. Thanks for resubscribing. It's a fantastic game with a really lively community that you can play at any point. There are armies that are very good, there are armies that are medium good, and there are armies that are terrible. When people tell you, we call it the rule of fool, to collect only what you think is cool, it's actually a foolish venture, because you'll end up just building stuff that is terrible in the game, and then you'll just lose, and it'll feel weird. And as much as some people will tell you losing for 5 years in a row is fun, it's not necessarily true. And I'm sure you want a good opportunity to just win. You can visit the Honest Wargamer stats on thehonestwargamer.com, where the stats are currently put up by our stats team. Special shout out to Ziggy and the crew. And then you can see which of those armies are in the different categories, whether or not they're doing really well, medium well, or terrible. I would advise not buying any of the terrible ones, and arguably I always advise never buying miniatures or armies that haven't got a current or this generation battle tome, because your army could get invalidated at any point in the future. Games Workshop have done it before, and I'm almost certain they will do it in the future as well. So if you are looking to buy stuff and make, if you're looking to just buy things, then it doesn't really matter whether they're good or bad or anything else. You're just going to haphazardly buy this for that quick endorphin fix. But if you are looking to buy them to build armies that work well for you, then what you will want to do is look at what armies are doing well at the minute, and also which units are doing well as well, which is also available on the stats as well. So having a couple of pet factions is ideal. Also, yeah, having 2 factions is good. Having these 2 factions could be good as well. But with a new book on the way, we don't know if they are good, which is a good point. Right. Karke says, as a Fire Slayer player, I can't help but feel this really misses the mark for an army that has 2 battle line kits, a monster, and that's more or less it. Well, you also have 7 characters, which is good. So that's important. Sonic Gav said, I made the mistake of buying Nighthaunt army at the end of second. Now it's in the corner waiting. Yes. So you do really want to be conscious of that. You want to be conscious of what you buy, because you want to be able to play locally with your friends, even if you don't want to go to tournaments. You want to have some opportunity to win with your army. You don't just want to, because the stats represent people who go to tournaments. This is super important and something we don't talk about enough. If you see that Gloomspike Gits or Beast of Chaos have got 35% win rates, you have to remember that generals who only play with those armies, who love those armies, and are trying their hardest to win with those armies, are the players that are only able to achieve that. So you as a new person will do worse, not better than that. So that's really important. Anyway, the artwork is great. Can't wait to find out about the story, because I am genuinely invested in the story. I think that'll be a really fun thing to find out about. Why are they at war? I don't really know why they're at war. It's pretty cool to find that out. So I'm looking forward to reading that when I'm able to buy it digitally in the future. Thanks for tuning in to The Honest Wargamer. If you have enjoyed this, you can like and subscribe and leave comments. That does help make us more, not popular, infamous. Thanks for listening to The Honest Wargamer. Is everything going to get one new hero? Big Tom. It's what they do, man. Like, they just stick out like, cool, it's a new hero. Like, it's just marketing shit, right? Like, these battle boxes aren't designed to help people. They're never thought through. A unit of Reavers, a unit of Thralls, and a character. Come on, right? And an Alapex, I guess. And Alapex is cool. I guess that's a good start to an army. Like, if you were splitting the box, I guess they're 2 good starts to an army. And you probably add in a couple of units on top to get started with your mate. But, like, when you talk about, like, tonal imbalances, like, Fire Slayers play differently to Ideth Deepkin pretty severely. They're slow. Like, compared, they're tanky, and they really, like, the game doesn't downscale well. Like, it's balanced laughably at 2k points. So like, they don't, like, the downscale doesn't really work. You can't really, like, I know people like, I'm playing 1,000 points, but I don't really see how you can. I guess people don't really know. I think the thing that always scares me is, like, my personal story of the guy just buys the army, is like, oh yeah, I've bought the army, and then he plays it like, oh, I keep losing, why do I lose it? And then they read online that the army isn't good. That's really hard for people to get over, especially when it takes so long to fucking build and paint it, right? Must be 2 battle tomes quick behind this. Yeah, JJ, I agree. It'll be a double release, right? Definitely. Candle Crew are infamous. Grimgar, the Candle Crew are infamous. It's true. Hey, it's been great hanging out with you. I'm gonna head for a bit. I know. I've barely had time to talk to any of you, and I miss you loads. I need to prep for the show tonight with the guys. And then I'll be live all this week. It's a bit of a fucky week this week because of scheduling. Because it's kind of that weird week between Christmas and New Year. And like, truthfully, it would just be, I think we're going to go into hard lockdown. There is a show tonight with Nathan, James, and Dan. I'm pretty certain. I need to check for all three. Nathan said he was sick earlier. Topic tonight will be an end-of-year review, obviously. How did we... 2021 in review, which would be good. Yeah, but it's going to be a weird week. So the best way, I think if you click the bell the bell thing on Twitch, so it notifies you when we go live. That's the best way to see when we go live this week, because I'm going to try and desperately going to try and fit in seeing a bunch of my friends before we go into hard lockdown this week, and then I'm pretty certain we'll be in hard lockdown for the rest. And if we aren't, I'll be very surprised. In which case, if we go into hard lockdown, you'll see me a fucking load, which would be great. I have no idea what day it is, and all I'm eating is leftover cheese. Yeah, that's the future. But anyway, it's going to be great. I love you all. You're great. Thanks for being great people. Hanging out with you guys is so fucking good, and I'm hyped for doing it this year, so it's going to be good. TTS tournament, if there's hard lockdown, is 100% fact. So we will do a TTS tournament for the Honest Wargamer crew. If there's lockdown. Love you all. Look after yourselves. Hope you had a great Christmas, obviously. I'll definitely see you tonight. I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Big love. Love you loads. And Stream Street 2, very likely coming soon.